right.
Okay, that's enough coughing.
Yeah, that's enough
Yeah,
I am not contagious. I have medicine and everything already. I just
We
sound
believe
horrible.
you.
It just hurts my little soul to hear.
It lingers and lingers. Believe me, it hurts every single part of my body.
Especially during the holiday season.
You should have heard my cough with the blood pressure medication.
Yeah. We
That
have
was
that
a
on
dry
recording.
cough.
You coughed for years.
I'm so glad that's gone.
I keep telling them that that's not agree with me. The last one he gave me, I think that's what threw my back out.
I believe that. Coughing clears your back out. I believe that. All right, let's open in prayer. Father, thank you so much for this study, for Revelation. Thank you that you have given us a mind to understand it,
Thank
for
you,
your Holy
Jesus.
Spirit inside that
Thank you, Jesus,
teaches
for all
us
these ladies. Bless
your
them,
word.
Lord.
I pray for Becky and for Linda as I believe they're traveling to get here this morning. I just pray you give them safe travels. And I pray that you would just help us this morning to understand exactly what it
Yes.
is that you want us to see.
Amazing.
And help us to be patient to leave the things that we don't understand alone. In your precious name, amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Why do you think we had this study? Why do you think this week we had this study?
Because God thought that we are ready to this heavy thing.
We're ready?
This, yeah.
Good. Good, because we couldn't have been
We
ready in
need
part
this.
one for this.
No.
Good point. Timing. Why is it so important for us to know about the millennial reign and kingdom? Why is that so important for us to know? It may not even happen in our lifetime. So why is that even
We have to
important?
bring the gospel.
We have to what?
We have to bring the gospel.
Right.
We have to
Right?
tell.
We have to tell the gospel.
Well, it's telling us what we are going to go through, what we've gone through, and what is to,
And what
we're
is to
working
come.
towards.
And what we won't go through.
And what we won't go through. Today, Kay will tell you whether she is pre-mid or post. Interesting. Give me some more reasons. Why do you think you need to know about the millennial reign of Christ? Because this is interesting. I don't want you to just come to your homework and go, okay, this is this week's homework. Why? Why do you study this? This may not even happen in your lifetime. Probably won't. I don't know if it will or not.
One of the things that Larry and I were talking about is that we had a preconception of what that is going to be, and we learned that it's different.
Yeah.
And that it's a lot more involved and than we expected, because from the pulpit, this is what we heard. And we'll have 1,000-year reign and a new heaven and a new earth. And that's all we got.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Did not realize that people are going to live and die during the millennial reign. What?
Right.
So just to gain that knowledge and information, it helps me as a believer to have the facts and not just speculate.
Right.
And
Right.
excitement.
Yes, very excited.
Yes.
Good.
Jenny,
That could be a reason why,
Yeah.
so that we're not confused about what
No.
we've always been taught. And it's always been that way, but that's not right.
Yeah, it settles me.
It settles me, again, so that, what did you say, Satu?
It is exciting.
It's
It is
you know,
exciting because I have the.
There's no
knowledge.
fear in this
Yeah,
stuff.
right.
There's no fear. Okay?
I do it because he told us to study thyself to prove
Yeah.
God,
Mhm.
etc.
Until
That's
I
why
have
I
my last
keep
breath
doing it.
Bible study.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get it done.
Well,
Sometimes I don't want to come.
There you go.
I'm still here.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And it is, it's because he's commanded us to do that.
As
Right,
I'm reading it,
right.
but
He wants us to be ready. What he's gonna give us, the responsibilities. It's
Good.
not only playing. How do you
Right. Playing harps and sitting in there with
Yes.
yes.
Well,
He does, but you put it there.
It's that too, but
As
there's a lot of
it's
responsibilities.
just in the world today, a lot of it, you're paying attention, a lot of what you're seeing happening is a misinterpretation of Revelation that's being put out there for general consumption. Movies, shows, conversations,
yes.
because we're seeing our society change.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got to be able to reason and have a voice against that, because
Good.
really the way it's being portrayed makes it seem like, why try?
It's just pointless
Because
anyway.
it's going to have to be us combating this.
Right.
Like
Us
God's
against the
not a
world.
factor.
Good. Good.
It enhances my hope for the future.
There's my word there.
Yeah.
Hope.
Yes.
Because if we look at this world for our hope, there is no hope. Things get better, things get worse. Things get better, things get worse. Politically it gets good, politically it gets bad. Day to day, hour to hour, in and out. People disappoint. But Christ never disappoints. And when you get into the Word and you read, whatever He says will happen, happens. It happens. The most exciting thing is to go to Israel and see these things. Especially, I can't get over the Dead Sea Scrolls. When you see where they found it, a shepherd little boy, happens to hit the very exact little thing where the Dead Sea Scrolls are. I'm like, really? There is no coincidence on that at all.
Amen.
None.
Amen.
There's none. Why was it preserved? Why did they let it out at that time? Because it's His story. This is when it needs to come in. This is when it needs to be proved. Why didn't they know that there's a natural divide that the Israelites could have walked on? It is possible. Why did that just, 20, 30 years ago be discovered?
Yeah.
Why not 18?
But like Daniel, it was not his time. But reading those prophets, how similar this message is.
Yeah.
Constantly saying the same thing. So it's like,
It almost got redundant on day 5. It's like,
Amazing.
okay.
yes.
I get it. Do we have to look up another reference that says the same thing?
But that just means that is such a truth.
Right.
Good. Good. What questions do you still have? Because, next week's it. So we have all our questions answered, right?
I have a question of during the millennial, what is Jesus doing?
What is Jesus doing? Right. Right?
I mean, he's
reigning.
appointing princes, priests,
Right.
and he's assigning Levite jobs to
And he's
take care
judging
of the
nations,
temple.
we know
He's
that.
judging nations. But what else is he doing, and what is the rest of the world doing while he's in Jerusalem and the other nations are outside? I mean, he calls them in to say, bow down and worship me, and if you don't,
And
reign.
what is it?
But what else is
Again,
he
that
doing? It's
hope.
1,000 years.
That hope. We
Yeah.
don't see him. But
Yeah.
in the millennial, we'll see him.
I know,
We'll
right there.
touch him.
Yeah.
I think of a little child going up and just grabbing her daddy's hand while
Yeah.
she's standing in line. It's a natural thing to do.
Right. Larry said,
It will be
imagine him-
natural for
Yeah.
him to be walking among us.
Among-
God,
Yeah,
amazing.
again.
Exactly.
Walking again. That's what
He's doing what he is loved.
Yeah.
That's, wow.
This is what the cross was all about.
He's ruling with righteousness.
Right.
That's what the scripture
Yeah.
says.
I'm just.
The rod of iron, yeah.
These are just some of the questions I had. Oops.
Oh, that was,
Why do the nations need the leaves for healing? Why?
because they are still in the,
They
Their
are,
body.
but what do they do with the leaves? Do
And
they?
he told you it was for medicinal purposes.
He did?
Yes.
He told me it was for, okay.
the midi.
He told us way back that the leaves of the tree are for medicinal purposes.
For medicinal purposes. I need to look that up because that will help me answer my question. They're the tree of life for healing. Specifically for, why do the nations need to be healed?
They are still in
Right?
this body.
Because they're corrupted.
Right, is it physical,
by
is it
Satan.
spiritual, is it, it doesn't say,
Is it symbolic or?
so I don't know. But who gets to eat the fruit and how come they eat the fruit? Now Kay says something on the DVD today, I'm like, they do? That's a like, really? So when you guys get to that point, and she says that they have to eat the tree, I don't know if she says they have to, sorry. They eat the fruit of the tree every month to stay alive.
Well, in the Garden of
So it's a physical
Eden,
thing.
though, didn't
Yeah, it is a
could
physical.
not eat of the tree of life.
Well, yeah, because then they live forever in their
Exactly,
sin.
but so maybe now we can because we will live forever.
Because we'll live forever.
I don't know.
It's just a
That's
just
statement, and she went on, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
And it's a
Why do they
different
have to
fruit.
eat it to stay alive? And it's the fruits, not the
It's
leaves.
a different fruit.
Right, every month. Right.
It's something
That's
I
still
like.
something
I
like
know
this.
it will be.
What does Revelation 22:11 mean? I still don't have clarity on that.
22:2?
22:11.
Yeah, that is interesting. My reward is with me.
Well, because I've debated on this one too, Jenny, but I mean, I think this is just a demonstration of free will is still happening in that 1,000 years. There are
Because the
still-
one who does wrong is still going to do wrong in
There
the
are
1,000
still
because
people
there's still
who
a
are going to
choice.
choose to not
That's an easy definition.
obey.
Yep.
I mean, because God says you don't come to worship.
That's true.
fact. So obviously, some choose not to.
Now, obviously, because then
And
they get famine.
If
I mean,
Satan
rain.
comes out after
Right.
1,000 years and can gather the nations to
Right.
go against God, there are obviously still
People still
quite
in
a few
rebellion.
unbelievers.
True.
Yeah.
So-
True. So that's what.
I think that's
Let
just
the one who does wrong still do wrong. The one who is filthy still be filthy, and let the one who is righteous still
Still
practice
practice
righteousness, and the one who is holy still keep himself holy.
Because
That may
it-
describe the whole millennial reign, huh?
Yeah.
It might, and now you think about it, and you're like, how do you miss it? But then again, how did they miss it when he was walking with them the first time?
I know.
Free will.
Yeah.
Free will. What do we eat at the marriage supper of the Lamb?
Oh, chocolate.
As a chocolate. One who loves to cook, you know, I'm like, what are we
Or just
eat?
choosing something that you
When?
like.
When do we actually sit down and
Yeah.
eat with him? When?
Yeah.
I
Just
can't,
said
I
it
don't
would
know.
happen.
And are there two wars? It looks like there is.
Yeah.
But it looks like one is
Yes.
squelched before it ever happens because
Yeah.
Right.
That one.
That's the last one,
Yes.
right? But the
Yeah.
other one,
Cleared up
you know,
before.
I
I didn't know
mean, Kay
that
brought us
before.
to the valley. This is where the fight's going to happen. So I know there's going to be a war.
Yeah. That was.
I
my
also know who
surprise, too.
wins.
Yeah.
But then Satan gathers the nations after the
Yeah.
1,000 year and so. Is
Gone,
there
they gone,
two
yeah.
wars? Because
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
Looks like
But the
it.
other one is just fire.
But we
gone.
only talk about the Armageddon.
Oh, we
That's
do.
the.
Yes.
Right.
I always thought that there's a one.
Oh, one more and that's
war,
it.
One more
and
and
now
done.
there is
Yeah.
There must
No,
be
there's
two.
two.
Yeah.
And again, who isn't devoured by the fire?
Well, though,
Yeah.
the kings
Satan.
get devoured
Satan,
themselves
yeah.
and the
Right.
different things. So, you know, you got to figure, is that when that happens? Like, you know, when the kings and stuff and the
That's
Yeah.
Armageddon, when the 10 kings get together and their whole
yeah,
thing
but
is to
before
give
that,
to the beast.
right? But before that, there's
In Edom,
I don't know. I was
when
thinking-
Jesus goes to
Yeah.
Basra.
That's where they meet.
Yes, yes, when they, yes, and then they're on
That's
the road to
Armageddon.
Jerusalem.
Right.
Right, that's
Yeah.
Armageddon.
So
That's-
2.5 wars.
Still, it's like, but I'm like, oh, but everybody got devoured by fire, and then the next verse says, and Satan was thrown into the lake of fire. So you didn't devour him by fire when you did the other?
Well, no, because he's.
Yeah, he was in the.
He's
Yes.
going in the lake of fire.
Because he
Yeah.
was.
You know,
God
but
will use him still.
where are all those people that just got devoured by fire anyway going?
In
The lake of fire.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're already there. Satan just gets a special placement, all by himself.
Yeah, right.
You know, where will I be at the rapture? Where will I be at the second coming? You should be able to answer the second one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
because
you're
I'm
here.
gonna be riding on a horse.
With
I'm
him.
coming with the white
You'll be
donkey.
with- I'm gonna be with him. Right.
Yeah, but you don't know where you're
the
going.
Now, where am I gonna be during the I don't know. I don't know. Okay, marriage supper of the Lamb. Again, have your homework open. What did you learn from Revelation 19 about the marriage? Let's get time references. 19:2 gives you a time reference. 19 gives you a whole lot of time references.
I'm sorry, what was your
19:2.
question?
Well, even one. Time references. After these things. After what?
I have after Babylon.
Judgment.
Fall.
Yeah.
That's
Babylon
correct.
falls.
Right. So, get that picture in your head, right? All the merchants are standing there, and they're, all right, well, there she goes. But they're not helping her, getting near her, but they're really sad that she's gone. Okay? So it's after the harlot's judged. okay? After he has avenged the blood of his bondservants, right? It's all very important on your timeline where you know after, okay? It's also after the bride has made herself ready, right? Because in verse 7, it says, let us rejoice and be glad and give the glory to him, for the marriage of the Lamb has come. There's a time reference. And his bride has made herself ready. Not is making herself ready, has made herself ready.
Yeah.
Okay? Question.
Right.
She's clothed in fine linen. We know that the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the saints have to be the bride because of the way she's clothed.
Yeah.
Okay?
I thought it was a church.
What is the bride? The church. So you're right. I could have said equals church.
Right.
Okay? Why is that important for us to know that?
Because
Because I'm part of the bride.
Because I'm part of the bride.
Yeah,
But we can live.
it's important to me.
It's important to me. But why is it important for you to know timeline? Here's the cross. Old Testament believers. Timeline. New Testament believers. Who New Testament believers are the bride.
Bride of Christ.
Who is not? Oh, da-ding, da-ding, da-ding. Never are they called the bride. Never. They're Old Testament believers. They're not the bride. They're not the church.
Yeah.
Now we got a group of people we got to stick in somewhere. Problem. Right? Now I got another problem. Where do these people, well, where are they?
They're in heaven.
They're in heaven.
They're in heaven, yeah.
I know they're in heaven. They are not the church. They are not the bride. I never knew that.
I never either.
But think about it. Think about that. You have references to tell you who is the church, who is the bride, who is the saints, okay? And the supper is in
I just
heaven,
thought it was all encompassing.
right, but it isn't. Never are they called the bride of Christ. Never, never, never. And a couple DVDs ago, also, did she say God the Father had a wife?
Yes.
He's
God's
right. He's
bride.
That's
right.
them.
Jesus' bride.
Not a
Yeah.
bride coming to get married, wife already married.
Yeah.
Oh. Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
Paradigm shift.
Does that include, well, I won't go there. That's just a rabbit. The armies which were following him are clothed in fine linen. Fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. Right. Why would they be clothed in fine linen? Because they are
The bride.
bride.
And they have to be appropriate.
So do you
dressed.
see what a special place you have?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the parables of that
Don't they
king
make sense?
who
Invited the
yeah,
guests.
and then I was always, why is that one,
Oh,
not
so
clothed
now
in
we
the-
get clarity
Yes.
to the parable.
Yes. Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alistair Begg, I love this man. Because don't you think the three wise men have been traveling from the east and finally in his Scottish brogue, they get there to this manger. This is what we've been traveling and traveling for, this little,
Well, they didn't arrive there.
really? Like, that is so true. They've been looking and looking and looking and they find a child.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not the baby.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Well, here's these frankincense and myrrh. I'm like, I never thought about it from their
Yeah.
I was like, shall we go back home?
I needed to bring a stick and a ball.
I brought the wrong thing, right? I just was like, those are your references to tell you that the bride of Christ is the church, is the saints clothed in fine linen, okay? This could be a reason why we're studying this 1,000-year millennial who comes, it could be. Is this hope? Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I know where I will be. I know what I'm gonna wear. No wardrobe malfunctions.
And everything will fit.
My white. It is white. There's no spot.
But this study has also put an urgency.
Oh,
The
yes.
sorrow, the
Yes.
urgency just go to the world. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yes, for those of our family especially that do not
Can't
know
even.
Jesus.
Those prophets, they were all whiling. I'm whiling too.
Okay, page 167
Not
on
even
your homework, you went over the wedding garments. Now, when we read that parable, that has always been confusing to me. Okay, these people that are invited, now they can't come. I mean, Anna's getting married December 23rd. It's like we're gonna show up and nobody's gonna be there.
Because they're all Mary's birthday party.
Right. Vera,
Yeah,
they can't come.
I need to go and see my lambs.
Something else came
My
up.
sheep.
Something else came up.
Yeah.
When the king has invited, something else came up? You're kidding me. Okay. Never understood this parable until now. Okay? Hopefully we're going to really get this. This is a known. This is obvious. You have studied and studied this. Righteousness is the result of salvation, is it not?
Yeah.
So if you're saved, how should saved people be living?
Righteously.
Righteously. What should be coming out of their mouth?
Righteous words.
Righteous words. Here's a problem then.
The praise.
I have a lot of saved friends that swear freely. Freely. I don't understand that. It always confuses me, but I move
Some
on.
people believe that once you're saved, you're forgiven,
Always.
so you can do anything after that.
Well, you are forgiven if you confess it. It does say that. If we confess our sin, he is faithful and just to forgive us of our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness, because we're supposed to be walking in righteousness. And daily we have unrighteousness.
Yeah, but that also means you have the attitude of wanting to change it.
Yeah.
Turn
Heart
around,
change.
go the other direction.
Right?
Right.
You feel the craving in the
just a
Holy
thing you
Spirit.
kind of go, why is that not offensive to you? I don't
It is
know.
offensive to me.
It's offensive to me. Is it a culture thing? But
It's
we're not
so
supposed to be
common.
like the world. We're supposed to be totally different.
know.
So this is
I think
interesting
it's,
to me.
to me, it is who you hang around with, you know,
Mhm.
and it becomes almost like second.
And that is true
Oh,
too,
it
isn't
is.
it?
It is a
Right.
culture.
When Lainey
thing.
lived with me,
Because
I
it's
agree with
your
that.
influences.
when Lainey lived with me, I found myself using the F and the S word, and that is something I had never done. She used it all the
Because it keeps
time.
coming in, so
Yeah.
it's going to go
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it?
Who's Elaine?
Lainey,
Elaine? Who's
Okay,
my granddaughter,
ponder that.
lived with me for 5 years.
Everybody's been married.
I just,
Everybody's gone through, well, I'll say everybody, I don't want to assume. Why does a bride put so much work into her wedding? Why? It's got to be the perfect dress. Why?
It should be the only
It's a
one.
one time.
Here, so perfect in front of everybody.
She's going to be in front of everybody. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
not only
huge.
that, but in front of
Because she wants to
her
be
husband.
beautiful for her groom, I think.
Because this is walking down,
Down, yeah.
presenting herself to her groom
Right.
To make a covenant
to make a covenant to be together
forever.
forever.
Right.
Okay? I've said this before. Walking down the center of an aisle in covenant means what?
walking between the pieces.
Between the pieces. Her family, his family. We're cutting covenant. Okay? We're walking between the pieces to make a new beginning. Okay? Forever. We're just going to keep saying that forever because it is forever. It takes two people. Please hear me. It takes two people to make it forever. Okay? Okay, when she walks between that, now what are these people?
Witnesses.
Before God and these
There are witnesses
witnesses. So what do witnesses come to the court to do?
to testify
About what?
about what, about
They see.
what they see
They see
and what they know.
what they've heard, what they've experienced, gone through. Okay, December 23rd, Anna's going to walk down to Villas and she's going to commit her life. He's going to commit his life to her forever. Not that we've made that a big thing, but it's This is a one and done, right? We understand this. Yes, yes. You understand you're going to commit to her forever, right? Yes. You understand? Yes. Oh, this is forever. You understand? You understand. If you don't think this is forever, Ron and I will be. You understand, right?
Refresh your memory.
Let us refresh your memory. Yes.
Well, that's one thing that
I'll bring some witnesses with me that said, you said, forever. So when it gets hard,
As it will.
And it will.
Forever.
Yes.
trust
Amen.
us, it will. It's forever. Because it was before who?
Before God.
God. And these witnesses. That your yes be yes, and your no be no. But you said yes. And we said yes. So we hold you accountable.
And that's what I have problems with weddings, that I've been to, that is not a big
happen
thing
anymore.
that everyone that's present watching this you're taking part, and it's a huge thing in my mind.
This is not a party.
I talked at Jackie's wedding during her ceremony, and not that it made a difference anyway on one side, but that's all right. But that was my point, was to make a point like that, was a covenant. It's a very serious matter, and those who are listening, seeing, and taking part of this marriage, it's a serious thing. It's
You
not
do have
just,
a part. You're not
Yes.
here to just eat, barbecue, and dance.
Yes.
Right.
You are here because you mean the world to these two. That's
But
why
in
you got
Finland,
invited.
I have never heard that.
No.
It's just a party. I have
It's
never.
just a party.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay?
So I
We
think the most of
are
people
the
have never heard it.
bride
I agree.
of Christ.
Secular people.
Yes,
This is the ultimate groom. This is the ultimate
But what they
perfection,
don't
ultimate
know, God
handsomeness,
doesn't give them a couple of what they should know.
ultimate. Okay? Should we be thinking about how we're dressing ourselves? The righteous acts of the saints. The righteous acts of the saints. Not all what I do for the church. These are all my ministries. No, that's not what that's talking about. This is the day-to-day, thought by thought, heart to heart, why I do what I do. So when that person cuts me off in traffic, oh Lord, please help that person.
I'd be
because
so
he has
good
a
for
family.
3 days.
He's going to get killed. That family needs him. Please help him to be a better driver. And help me not die off. Right? Okay? Right. It's the day-to-day, rubber meets the road, righteous acts of the saints. We're saints. We're clothing ourselves. Why, again, does the bride, it's got to be perfect dress, it's got to be, this is her one moment to walk down the aisle. This is her dream dress. This is everything I've always wanted since I was a little girl. I found him, right? Yeah. We found him. What can I do? Does my hair look good? Does my makeup on? Yes, that's what we need to be thinking about, because now I know beyond a shadow of a doubt where I'm going to be when he comes back. With him as his army in my white linen. Yes. If that doesn't give you hope in this crazy, crazy world, maybe that's why we crazy world. Side note, I'm talking to my sister-in-law who's a teacher. Do you know in schoolrooms now they have a calming corner?
Calming.
A calming corner.
I've had a child.
When you
who needed that,
feel-
though, so I'm just gonna say.
Your child
Yeah.
knows that corner?
No, yes, she does. But I would say it sounds bad, but there are times I think it's a good thing.
I think teachers need a corner.
I was just gonna say,
They do need
a
a
teacher?
calming corner. They need a place. But I mean, I think we're quick to judge these things, and we're quick to.
And
do
I
this
agree
like
with
but
that. I do agree with that. And yet there is a life skill.
There's a life.
It's
but,
very
but
hard
part
to
of it
learn.
is a life skill to learn to find a place to calm
To
yourself.
calm yourself?
Before going off
And
the
if
rails.
you don't
Yeah.
have that, if you don't learn that skill, and a
Well,
lot
you
of
need
us
help
have
with it.
not, and it's turned
Right.
into a lot of crazy neuroses and negative behaviors as we've gotten to
All
be
these
adults.
medications, yeah.
True. Or medications to do
And
that.
sometimes even
Right.
with medication, you need to call
Exactly,
before.
right. Yeah.
It's not magic.
Right.
My granddaughter.
It can be abused. That's what
Oh,
I want to bring out, because I know your daughter needs one.
And a lot of these homes are horrible.
You're right. So true. I just wish
Joy.
Jesus were in that corner for those people.
Yeah.
Because that's where, that corner's not going to go with them throughout their life, but Jesus will go with them throughout their life. If we could teach our kids that, if we could teach them Christ is with you. If you know Jesus, he is with you everywhere you go. Does this situation make sense? It does not. There is nothing good about this situation. Will God use it for your good and his glory? He will, but I'm not going to guarantee you that you're going to know that in your lifetime. You may. I hope you do. I hope I do. But you may not. You may not. That's where I wish, even in Christian schools, have you guys taught at Christian schools? Is there a calming corner? Is there a place where, and is Christ taught for that life skill? No.
That's the job of the parents too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where
That's
that's where your parenting comes in, and
I
you
know
say,
it.
"Hey, listen, you need to go and find a place to calm down and ask God to give you some self-control
There
right
you
now,
go.
because you're not going to get it by yourself."
There you go.
But that's teaching from home,
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
government's not going to do that.
And nor should they. Nor
And-
should
and
they.
yeah, it's
And
our-
again, teachers, you know,
And I-
hopefully we're in seeking into that child what's happening in the home. That's what you hope. That's the perfect world, isn't it? Doesn't exist. Okay, Luke 12:35. Okay, here's this great parable about what? In Luke. There were some who were ready and some who weren't. What were they?
Oh, these were the 10 virgins.
Yes.
5 with their lamps
Right.
ready and their extra oil,
And
and 5
some
not.
not. And how mean of those that were ready not to share their oil. Why?
Well, because we have
ready to help me. Please help me.
Please help me. I forgot that part. That's a really important part I forgot.
Their
Great.
answer was, if I give you some, I may not have enough for me either, so nobody will make it.
And there's the being ready.
That's your
I
Holy
have,
Spirit.
generosity. However, if I am generous to you, then I won't make it. And that's what I've prepared myself for. So I'm really sorry about that,
But their
you
job
just
wasn't
need
to
to go
share.
home, I guess, and get your own oil. I
No,
don't
it
know.
said in
You weren't
Revelation
ready.
that
It wasn't their job to share it.
Hold
It
what
wasn't
you
your job
have,
to
so
share it.
nobody's taking your rewards.
Because everybody was supposed to be ready, and it wasn't their job to share their oil.
How
They
does-
were supposed
how
to be
does
the
that
ready
work
ones.
in your life? How does that transcend into your life? Because we're supposed to be generous. If we see a need, we're supposed to meet it.
I'd share the oil, and then I wouldn't be ready. That's what I would do.
do. Louise?
I would give all my oil to
All
my
of
children.
God's
That's
word
the
tells us what others have been through, give us examples, and teaches us to prepare
Yeah.
for the future.
It teaches us to prepare for the future. I want you to make this parable real in your life.
Well, think about it this way. You've got somebody who is always needing something. If you're always stopping and helping them so that it's pulling you away from your Bible study, interrupting your morning quiet time with Him, you are not preparing yourself, as God has said, to be in His presence.
So who's actually creating that? Satan.
Yeah.
And you're just enabling the other person.
Exactly, and you're not actually helping them.
No.
Because they're not learning to function on their own. You're not addressing what actually needs to be addressed.
Right.
You're putting a Band-Aid on the problem constantly to the detriment of your own self.
Okay? That is very hard to do. Those are people that I describe as they suck me dry. Okay? Because
Well,
they
because
do
then
suck you
then
dry.
People say, oh, well, you're not being very Christian.
Right.
You're not-
But what,
Right.
what, if you think of the oil as a mental preparedness, knowing the scripture, you're prepared Christian-wise,
That's good too. Because then you can give an answer because you've prepared yourself.
but then you can't go get it for them.
No,
You can share.
you can share.
But you
But
don't
there's a
lose it.
limit.
You do
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
lose that sharing. Well, I was thinking maybe it's the Holy Spirit, but you cannot lose your Holy Spirit. either,
Right, you
too.
can't lose the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
so the oil can't reply or apply to a
Yeah.
Holy Spirit because of the rest of the Word of
Yeah.
God. We can't take it out of context to make this say something it could not mean. Okay?
I thought
Believe
of it,
me, I tried to
thought
put
of it
everything
like like giving away your standards to make other people more comfortable, like watering down your Christianity to thinking that that's making you more accessible to helping somebody. In that, does that even make sense?
Yeah,
It
makes
does,
total
but
sense.
remember that these
Yeah, and
virgins
this is
would
actually
not
what that's about.
give away they wouldn't. They could have.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
but
they
we should.
can't, because if they were to, like, that is what they were doing, and if you were to give it away, I thought of it in my head as like they weren't willing to do that.
Right.
It,
Like
lower
standards,
their
they weren't
standards.
willing
right. They
to
weren't.
cross.
Right.
That's like going back to.
But go to the
Yeah.
oil. They sent the virgins. Let's talk this through. They sent them back to get. They had oil. They had oil available to them, but they weren't prepared to bring it with them. So they said, "Go back and get it, because we can't give you ours, because then the master may come and what?
We don't have enough.
We'll miss it."
Yeah.
How could they miss the master's coming?
Because you're leaving in the dark, and you need the oil is to shed light to the destination.
So
How you're
isn't
supposed
that,
to see the
journey.
yeah, what you were saying, that we allow our
What kind of
standards
book
and,
is this? What kind of book is this?
living.
Jewish.
Yeah, Jews.
Jewish book. Did the Jews have the truth all the time?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
They had the Old Testament. They had it before Luther translated it. They had it. They didn't bring it. They didn't believe it. They weren't ready. Even when he came, just as he was prophesied, just where he was supposed to be, just through the same tribe he was supposed to come through, did exactly what he was supposed to do, died on Passover. Died on Passover. When they're bringing their lamb to the temple. How can you miss that? Every day, all day long. That's how. How did the people miss it? Who was giving them the oil? The people that were missing it. That's how they missed it. Nicodemus didn't miss it. He knew. He knew when he talked. Oh, this has got to be the Son of God. So he secretly met him. Why did he have to secretly meet him?
He was a minority.
Because he was a big minority and he could lose his job. Right? And yet, we know he followed him. This is Messiah. He got it. He was a virgin ready with the oil. Oh, he's it. He didn't miss it. He was ready. Jesus came. He got it. Think of the parable in that way. I'm not saying I'm absolutely right. I'm not saying I'm absolutely wrong. But this is the only thing that comes to me because it's a Jewish book. This is two Jews, especially the New Testament. It was filled with Pharisees, and Jesus came to the Jew first. He told them parables first. The disciples, he chose them all. They walked with him. They're Jews. I think Luke was the only one that wasn't a Jew, right?
I think so, yeah.
When I look at it in that context, sometimes things make more sense to me. Because I forget this is a Jewish book. Oh, it's a Gentile book. This is New Testament. We all, Jews don't even believe New Testament. Yeah, no. It was written by Jews, for Jews, to Jews, by a Jew. Very different. It makes me look at things very, very differently. Now, they were ready. The betrothal. This was very cool too. In Jewish custom, okay, there's a betrothal. He selects his bride. Apply it to you. Christ chose you. All right? The church is betrothed to Christ because she is his bride. Are we married yet? No, not yet. Okay? But I am betrothed to him. Then the groom has a procession, think about that, to the bride's house. When he gets to his house, or her house, where does he take her? To his house. What does John 14 say?
I am going to prepare.
I am going to prepare a place for you, and when I come again, I will receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. He is my groom. I am his. He's coming to get me. Can you think back when you were dating? I could hear Ron's car running with my keys coming. Now, I didn't go out the door. He had to come to the door to get me. There was no honking yet. No. We're not going to go there. But I knew he was around the corner. There's no cell phones. I can't track him, But I knew the sound of his car. He was coming to get me. He's here, right?
When I was in Russia, and my young son and daughter-in-law got married, their procedure was that, of course, speaking Russian and everything, but thankfully Yulia's brother could speak English, and so he was a tag along with Ronnie.
So he's translating?
Yeah. Yes. Well, he could translate, and then they also provided a translator for us. But they decorated the cars. And then Ronnie and Alex drove up to they lived in a flat. Had a flat. And so on the 6th floor. So they drove up to it. And so he had to go up 6 flights of stairs, answering different questions and paying the bride.
I love it!
And paying the bridesmaids
to let him through?
Chocolates or pop or whatever to let him on the next thing. He had to know.
That's cute.
She had different questions they had different questions for him to make sure he had it right and whatever. Then when he got to the 6th floor, they handed him the set of keys to go into the house.
He had to go through each one until he found out which one was right?
Which key that would enter the house, the door. When he got into the house, there was a price on each, like $5, $10, $20 or whatever on each door. Where was the bride?
Oh my gosh.
And so, of course he was smart. I didn't raise a dummy. He chose the higher price.
There you go. Definitely where she was, right?
But then when he went into the living room and the bride, so to speak,
quotation
was there, it was like a witch bride. But anyway, he was there to get the bride.
And it was a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
And it was something.
And then, the wedding was from morning until night. And it was just like, it was really interesting, a wonderful experience to have. And to go through it.
I'll bet.
And it was, but it kind of reminds me of that, the groom had the procession to the bride's house.
Right.
Because they had the cars, there were 2 cars. And cars for us to get in and go. And They had a big wedding ring on the, on the car, special car and everything. So then we went to the little church. Church was not even as big as this room. And then we had the ceremony. Had a little bit of American in it, but and then we got back in the cars, went across 7 bridges. The 7th bridge.
All going to the same direction, or did you do that?
Going to I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I know. Directionally challenged, I'm with you.
Right. And also having to stop at different particular sites. One was at a river. One was at a monument of Stalin or something. I thought it was great. But anyway, then we had another one was at a beautiful house, kind of like a B&B type thing house. It was wrote in a fountain. They even turned the fountain on for them where they could have a picture of it. But anyway, the 7th bridge, he had to carry her over the bridge. And every time a car honked, he had to kiss her. So anyway, it was fun. And then we kind of went home.
Right.
And then kind of changed clothes if you want. Back that evening for the dinner, for the reception,
right.
You want to say. And they had, and I wish, one of these days I'm going to ask her mother, now that she can speak a little English, what it meant. But they had the bread and took a piece of bread for the family. We were all standing there in the room. And so we were sharing bread.
Wow, that's neat.
And
so symbolic, isn't it?
It is.
It was very
They know
symbolic in a
know.
wedding.
It is.
Yeah,
totally
because
is.
it's feeding one another and unifying the covenant. That's why I don't like when people smash the cake in each other's face,
Yeah, I
because
don't
it's
like
supposed
that.
to be a
Very-
very symbolic
like that,
time
but,
of their
you know.
covenant. Yeah.
Okay, when you go to those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb in Matthew 22, what do you think about? Okay, when you read that, that was page 167 of your homework. What did you learn about those people that were invited? Because there's kind of a natural list. Okay?
Well, the invitation says it's heard by all.
Right. That's interesting, number one.
But only
So
a
all
few-
are invited, correct?
But only a few take it.
Right.
Oh, I got to do this, or I have to do that, or I have to do whatever.
Now, does that not make you think of the parable when he said, he who does not love me more than these is not worthy of the kingdom, right? Don't say I'll follow you, but I have to go back and bury my father. Or what? So Christ has to be all in all. Okay. Remember, in Revelation 19, it told you you're blessed if you're invited. That was one of our blessed, right? Okay. Those invited to supper are not the bride. Hope that's huge. Okay. Why didn't I see that before in this parable? I'm like, how can people and then they get in, but then they're tossed out because the saved people come in. That can't be, because that's not the bride.
Right.
Duh.
Yeah.
In a wedding, the guests that are invited are not the bride. I know that.
I get it now.
Why didn't I apply that? I don't
Wow.
know. I just didn't.
Yes.
Right?
Those not clothed with the wedding garment are not the bride.
Exactly.
You're not clothed with the wedding
Garments, right? So you're not wearing the dress. So you're not the
Covering of
bride.
Jesus,
So you're not a guest. Okay? You're not invited to your own wedding. You're doing the inviting. Okay, does only the bride invite, or does the bride and the groom invite?
They both do.
Right.
Well, God said He wishes that none would perish.
That's
so
it.
He invites everybody.
So there's our all were invited.
That all should
Okay.
be.
These could be the Old Testament believers. If we think about it as a Jewish book. all were invited, all had heard that Jesus was coming, did all come.
No, there are no excuses.
And look what they did. They're unwilling to come.
Yeah, right.
Could be Jews. It is a Jewish book written, right? Okay, they paid no attention. What happened when Christ came?
They missed
They
it.
paid no attention. Most paid no attention. They seized the slave, mistreated them, and killed them. What did they do to the groom?
Disciples.
What did they do to the disciples? What did they do to the believers? I mean,
Right, yeah.
Paul could give you details of what he did, how many he did.
Yeah.
The slave's blood was avenged on the invitees that didn't come. What does that tell you who the invitees are then? Well, what you know about why blood needs to be avenged. What did it say? They killed them? Okay, if they killed them unrighteously, as in they shouldn't have been killed, then their blood needs to be avenged, doesn't
The
it?
souls under the altar.
Could be the souls under the altar, or the martyrs still yet to come. In the not the 1,000-year reign. What comes before that?
Tribulation.
Like when the two witnesses of the Great Tribulation. Right. Could be. Well, I know that. I know I'm not worthy. I mean, just look at my life. I'm not worthy to be a bride of Christ. I'm not worthy of that. But I'm invited. They're on the main highways.
That was neat.
They're not secretly in a room when you can only
Yeah.
find a way. Go here. They're out at, well, who's on the main highway? Well, everybody that's living pretty much. And they're also gathered from both good and evil. Do you understand this parable now? It is a Jewish book. This parable was spoken to Jews. The invited can't be the bride. Now, it could be the multitude from the nations who are saved out of the Great Tribulation. That could be. Matthew is as much about Revelation as Revelation is about Revelation, which I didn't understand that either. Okay? Those are just could be's. I won't stand on that. I don't. This is what this means. I'm just getting understanding of the parable, right? Which I didn't even have before. I had none of it. I would just read it and go, that's a really bad story. That's really, how do I apply it? Not a clue. If I were the disciples, I'd be going, could you explain that, please? I don't get any of it. Could be. Could be. All right, let's look at many are called, you are chosen. I did want to make sure we put that in there. Many are called. Few are chosen. Okay? Think about my dating life. Right? Nope. Oh, he's it. But a lot of no, never, nope. Maybe, oh, I guess not. Oh, he's it. Many are called, few are chosen. Christ's millennial reign. Now, that's on page 168 of your homework. So you had a few things to go over in your homework, and I always ask why. Why are you studying about that? Christ's coming as King of Kings, we know in our timeline, begins the 1,000-year reign. What do you know from your study about that? What happens at the beginning from your study? What have you found out happens during?
Well, before the reign even starts, an angel comes with a key and chains
Yes.
and puts Satan in the abyss.
Good. He's
So
bound
he's
during this time.
Off and unimpactful.
Right. So he can't deceive and hate him. He can't.
Yep.
So who has power over who?
God has power over Satan.
Obviously.
He created him.
He created him. Thank you. Okay? He can't deceive the nations. Interesting how it's phrased, isn't it? I'm just like, it doesn't say he won't.
It can't.
I'm like, interesting. Judgment is given to the saints. Now, when we first did this in our first part, it was like, who's given judgment?
Yeah.
It was given to them, verse 4 of chapter 20. And I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded because of their testimony of Jesus and because of the word of God, and those who had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had not received the mark on their forehead and on their hand, and they came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. How come I didn't see that before? If you're going to reign, you're going to be on the throne, right? So there's the people that are going to be on the throne. Why did I make that hard? I don't know. Just wasn't revealed to me till then. It's like, oh.
You are not ready.
Okay, that's not obscure anymore. That's obvious to me because if you're going to reign, you obviously have a throne. Okay. They reign with Christ for 1,000 years. What are they reigning over?
The nation who
rest of
comes
the
out
nations.
of the tribulation.
The
Yeah.
nations?
Because
Right.
there are nations that are left.
Yes. Okay.
Nations that are left will have to bring homage and offerings
Into
to
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem. And then
Right.
if those nations that are left do not,
Right.
then their life will be cut short.
Right. Right.
No rain. That's
No rain.
everywhere.
Okay,
No
which
rain,
creates
no rain.
Famine.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of the dead. Those are unsaved people.
Right.
Okay? Because verse 12 tells us they are. They did not come to life until the 1,000 years, it doesn't say we're ended, we're completed. So whatever has to happen during those 1,000 years is completed. This is the first resurrection. Blessed, there's our blessed, and holy is the one who has part in the first resurrection over these. These who?
Who came? The first resurrection.
The people in the first resurrection. Okay? The second death has no power, but they will be priests of God and of Christ.
Forever.
More people reigning with him for 1,000 years. Okay, when the 1,000 years were completed. I don't like this verse. Okay? Then Satan's released. So now what can he do?
Deceiver.
He can deceive
And
the
will.
nations. Okay?
It's a
Good.
And gather.
And what?
And gather.
And
Deceive
gather
and
from Gog, Magog, fourth corners of the earth to gather them for the
At
war.
last,
Yeah.
when I
The
never
war.
knew it.
The number of them is like the sand of the seashore.
Wow.
It's a lot of births during this.
Because you think of all the people, the mankind has been killed and wiped off the earth.
Before
Okay?
this, before the
all this.
1,000-year reign.
Right.
yeah.
All the destruction that has
A
happened.
third of this, a third of that, yeah.
And now there's lots of babies being born. Right. That are not coming to Christ. Sad. Just sad. Jesus is king. Okay. When I told you about the chart, that we just went over the chart. That was on page 169. Okay, Luke 1. This is not obscure. It says what it says, what it says. I'm not making it say something it doesn't. Do I understand how that's going to happen? Not a clue. Does that matter whether I believe it or not? No. There's a lot of stuff I don't understand how that happened, but it did. I mean, Garden of Eden, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how Noah happens. I don't have the slightest idea how that, what that even looks like or experience. I don't know. Do I believe it? Absolutely.
By the way, I was just reading a book, and they were talking about Indians that were on Earth many, 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 many years ago, and not all of them were killed in Noah's flood. Now, Indians were in the United States, and in this book it said that not all the Indians died in the flood, but they talked about the flood, and then these Indians went up on top of a mountain, and then they formed a new group of Indians, which eventually broke off into all the different kinds of Indians. And she makes so many times makes points of things in history that people that go back to biblical beliefs. And I was like this when I read that. I couldn't believe it.
You could give credence to her a little bit in that. How did they even know about the flood?
Yeah.
Somebody told them. They didn't experience it.
Yeah.
Somebody told them, because whoever experienced it is dead.
Yeah.
But
Because the
somebody
water
from
covered
Shem,
all
Ham, and
the
Japheth
mountaintops.
told them.
Yeah.
All the mountaintops were covered, so
That's
there
right.
is no
Yeah.
revival except
None.
those who were in the boat.
That's
But
it.
see-
Those 8 people.
I'm sure she did some decent research, the person that wrote the book, so to think that these Indians survived.
Why would, again, who's in
But in
control
the
of
Bible it says there was
Okay.
no revivals
Yeah.
except the,
this? You're just delving in. We're just
yeah.
tip of the iceberg. We're dipping it. Are we going to understand it? No. But we're going to experience it. I know I experience his 1,000-year reign because I'm a saint coming, because I'm a bride of Christ. I'm coming and I'm going to be in the 1,000-year. I know that. I know that's where I'm going to be. So it's interesting to see what your future's going to be, isn't it? Because you can't tell what's going to happen in an hour, let alone 1,000 years. But God said it. This is going to happen. He will rule the nations. Daniel 7 says all nations will serve him. He will be given a dominion, glory, and a kingdom. Okay? What do you know about that kingdom?
It's forever.
It's forever and ever.
And that
right?
was mentioned over and
Over and over and over. Why? He wants you to get it. Okay? He will be the Prince of Peace. Interesting that we're at Christmas time. Okay? Do we have peace?
No.
But he's the Prince of Peace.
Well, he hasn't come back yet.
Right.
You know,
But again, we're
he's
talking
in-
about the 1,000-year reign and what it's going to be like during the 1,000-year reign. But see, there's a question too, because if he's the Prince of Peace, but he's still ruling the nations who are not abiding, so
Well,
how
Satan's
is there
not there
peace?
to deceive.
Ah.
So
And
they're
who's
just-
judging and giving judgments and this is right, this is wrong, because this is what, it's like an
Jesus is.
ultimate
Jesus
Solomon,
is. Yeah.
right?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you about when they're given a judgment, what they do? They do it.
Yeah.
How do you, haven't you seen TV shows, whatever, they let them go from the judgment and then they're supposed to do this and they walk out of the courtroom and do they do it? No.
That also indicates that sin is still active.
Sin is still
It's
there.
just that Satan is not there.
Right?
Adding
These are,
to it.
as far as I can tell, these are not supernatural people during the 1,000-year reign having children. Therefore, they're still
they are
born
just-
in
yeah.
sin.
And they're working.
Yeah.
And they're working.
And they're exchanging money.
There you go.
And they're making a living.
Right.
And they're building their home.
Right.
And they're planting their vineyards.
But there's
and
peace.
There's commerce still.
But there's peace.
Mhm.
Okay? He keeps peace because he is peace.
Yeah.
He is. Okay? There's no end to peace. That's what I never saw that in Isaiah. That says no end. Okay? Zechariah 14 was interesting. He will be Lord. He will be king over all the earth. He will rule from Jerusalem. But he will rule all the earth. Nobody does that right now. Okay? So we know drought's going to come on those people who don't come up to Jerusalem, worship, do what they're supposed to do. Then, so what do you know about outside Jerusalem then?
Well, there's still unsaved people out there.
There's going to be famine. If there's drought, there's going to be famine.
It says that they will die sooner than
100
they should.
years, yeah. So there's still death. There's still death. I didn't like that. I was like, oh wait.
Well, you already had this preconceived of how
I
the 1,000 years
did.
was
It's
going to
not
be.
supposed to
and-
be
Yeah,
death.
you're
But
learning.
death doesn't get thrown into the lake of fire until the end
The
of
end.
Revelation
The
22, which is the
last
end of the book.
The last.
Oh, man. I have to wait that long. There's still another 1,000 years for death to be
Death in
here
Hades is the last.
during that time. Okay? There's still rebellion.
Just
I
allowing
love
others to
that.
sin.
Bells on the horses, so there's going to be horses. This is inscribed, holy.
Yes,
Holy
to
to
be
the
those
Lord.
millions and horses would be coming in.
Right,
Or
right.
donkey.
And there's going to be millions because
Yeah.
there's millions of saints. Okay? Even the cooking pots will be holy to the Lord. They're just like the ones in the temple. And everybody has access to those cooking pots. That's crazy to think about because they're holy. This is a Jewish book. What would that do to the Jew to know?
Oh, that's important to them.
Oh my goodness.
You can't touch that. That's holy.
Sacred.
Yes, I can.
Jesus is
I'm the
here.
bride of Christ, so it's mine just like it's yours.
Well, the religious Jews, when I was in England, they threw out their pots and everything at certain time of
Yes,
year.
yes, to cleanse. Right, right.
My friends threw them away and got new ones.
And there you go.
The
Because
people that I knew about.
throwing out the leaven. Jesus'
Oh,
kingdom.
Go home and throw all my.
You had to go to Daniel 2. No, you didn't go to Daniel 2.
Yes, we're going to-
I don't remember us going to Daniel 2.
We did go to Daniel 2, 44 and 45.
Where? What page is that on?
We went to Daniel 2.
Page 171?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. 2 verses. Yes, that's right.
Daniel,
That's
yeah.
right.
172.
In context, where is this? If you only get to verses 44 and 45, what's all before it?
The tribulation. And now he's going to set up a kingdom that will be forever.
Good, good. In context, what is Daniel 2 talking about?
He's interpreting
The dreams.
Nebuchadnezzar's
Dreams.
He's
Statue.
interpreting the dream about the
Kingdoms.
statue. Right,
Yeah.
so we've gone through the head, shoulders, right? All the way down, and now we're at the toes. And what do we know destroys the toes?
Stone.
The stone made without
Man.
hands.
Cut by hand.
Right, and it crushes
They crushed it.
the 10 toes, which symbolize
A new kingdom.
10 kings, right? And
Yes.
a kingdom made not without hands. Well, made without hands, okay? He puts an end to all those previous kingdoms, okay? Okay. It was promised to Israel, this kingdom, because this is a Jewish book. Take it in context as well. Jerusalem will be raised above the hills, and from it will go forth God's word. Because the rest of the land is going to be made of what?
Plain.
A
A
plain.
desolate. Yeah.
So what does that make Jerusalem do?
It's going right.
Can't miss it. Right? There it is.
Pedestal.
That's where we're supposed to go. He says we're supposed to go and do this, and where is it? It's right there. How can you miss it? There's nothing obstructing the view. Nothing. There is now, but there won't be. Because it's all going to be a plain. Jerusalem will rise up. Okay? All nations will be part of his kingdom. All nations. Nobody's not going to know.
That's just hard to fathom. isn't
I
it?
can't. I don't even understand it.
I mean, will he use a satellite,
Right.
TV?
Right.
You know, will he tweet? Will he send out an email?
With all the destruction,
Or
are
will
the
he
continents
just-
going to go back together?
I'm not on
Well, in
Twitter.
Romans, he
It doesn't
tells
say
us-
that.
No.
In Romans, he tells us that everybody in all the corners
All
of the earth
will know.
about
Yeah,
it.
Absolutely.
All
We
will
have no excuse.
But he's God, and he can make it happen.
Right.
So,
He doesn't even need
Yeah.
satellites.
Exactly.
He doesn't need the oceans to go away
No.
and the continents to go back. He doesn't need that.
Yeah.
So how are we going to go up? I don't know.
he speaks to his creation.
And we know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
in Jerusalem, decisions will be made for the nations.
Right.
There is no UN. There's no sanctions. There's no. If Jesus says, now you have to do this and this, then they have to go out and they actually have to do it. Okay? The nations will not war with one another. That's how I know whatever decision he makes, they have to do.
And they won't even train anymore.
Right. Their
Right.
plowshares or
Yeah.
their spears are pounded into
Or turned
plowshares,
into
right?
working tools.
Why? Farm tools.
Yeah. They're not
Oh,
even
there's
taught
still a
what-
farmer.
Yeah.
Some farmers will not be happy to know that. I thought my
Farming
toil was
was
over.
Maybe they are saying that they don't have to farm.
Yes. Jesus will rule with a rod of iron.
Thank you, Jesus.
Why?
We need that.
Because there's still sin in the world.
There's still sin in the world. Right? And he has to make
And his
judgments
word.
and his word, right? Those born during the millennial reign, some are not righteous.
Right. And some won't live out their
Still
life.
free choice. Still free choice. Okay? Those that gather for war at the end are going to be made up of these. Okay? That answers some of my questions. I'm like, but there's 1,000. It's just, no. See, that was my preconceived idea. That was not right. There's still free will. Still. When we get the new heaven and the new earth,
Oh, yeah.
free will? What's the point?
Yeah. It's not needed.
Only believers live there. They've already done the free will.
Yeah.
Okay? There is no need for free will because we already made it. But still, during 1,000-year reign, there is. I did not know that. But does that give you hope?
Absolutely.
People can still accept Christ if they're not dead, if they haven't died. Isaiah 65, $1 million question, right? In your homework. Where do you put it? Okay, is this future? Is it present? Has some of it happened and some of it not?
I broke it up.
That's the only way it makes sense to me.
17 to 19 is actually about the new heaven and new earth.
The new, right?
But 20 to 25 is about 1,000 years.
Because that fits, does it not?
Fit.
Does it, do we have to manipulate it to make it fit?
No.
No, it fits,
No.
but you know, your first instinct is not to break it up like that, especially to have the later written before the point.
Why would you
know,
do
when I was
that and then
studying
go?
Revelation, I never would have been able to make sense of Isaiah 65.
Never, because now you know it's obvious in Revelation.
Right.
Since that's obvious in Revelation, it makes it obvious in Zechariah. Oh, that doesn't happen until like. Oh, but this is,
Right.
you can do that now
Yeah.
because you've studied Revelation. Otherwise, when you read Zechariah, Amos, Hosea, you're like, Joel, forget it. I don't even get it. Well, I do now, but I didn't when you just, let's read the Bible through. I can't. That's one thing I physically can't do because I can't stop doing the 5 W's and an H, and then it takes me forever, and I'm so far behind. I was like, I'll never catch up. I can't do it.
Well, the
I
other
just
thing
can't
that
do it.
Kay taught us was that the day of the Lord is a specific time.
Yes.
But when it says in that day, sometimes it refers back to the day of the Lord, and sometimes it's in the millennial reign.
Yes. But now that you know what the
Yeah,
millennial reign
to
is
look for
like,
it. Right.
you can actually go, oh, that pertains to that, and that
Mhm.
pertains to this.
Yeah.
Okay? It says, I create new heavens and a new earth. Well, then that's during the new heaven and no. Like Marianne said,
Yeah.
no. When you have the new heaven and the new earth, you know this, and this. So when they say things, death is our last enemy, animals will do no harm, and God's holy mountain, does that include the whole earth? Well, the millennial reign is over
The
the whole earth.
Yes.
Right.
So are you afraid that your baby that's born is going to go get bitten by a snake?
Nope. He's eating
Stung
dust.
by a wasp? Just like, no?
Nope.
No? That's during the 1,000-year reign. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great things.
No.
Everybody's saved. No.
No.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I thought they were. Okay? There seems to be a lifespan. Because it says if you don't live at least 100 years, must be something wrong with you.
Yes.
There's a curse or something.
Mhm.
But it's 1,000 years. Why can't you live 1,000 years? It doesn't say that you will.
Mhm.
But am I worried about I'm going to die during that time? I already died.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. I already came back on my horse. because my white linen clothes and I'm the bride, so I'm not worried about that. I already did that. So I'm not worried about that. Okay. Is there still death during the 1,000-year reign then? There has to be. There has to be. There's still mourning. There's still burial. There's
It also refers back to trees that people
right, the
live
lifespan of a tree.
lifespan of a tree, and the lifespan of a tree
It's hundreds of
varies
years old,
though.
Yeah.
depending on the tree.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully you're not a rain tree.
Yeah, really. Yeah, really. That's true.
Death is our last enemy.
Mhm.
That is so appropriate. Is that not the thing that you're fighting? You're fighting. I want to do this to keep healthy. I want to do this, and because why? Because I don't want to die. And yet, when somebody dies, I'm like, oh, you see it. You see him. You see reality. You're there. There's a little bit of envy. There's a little bit. Because there's no fear in death. Why? Because he overcame death. So what did they see? They see him, they feel him, they touch him, they walk with him, they see.
You're okay to go.
Yeah. There's a little bit of envy.
Yeah, happy.
A little bit of envy. There's no more of this. But I love this. And I love so many things in this, but that. This compared to that. Oh, man. That's forever. And they're there. No more toiling, no more striving. There's a little bit of envy. Okay? Revelation 21. That begins our new heaven and our new earth. And then we get that lovely description, which we never, I don't think, land on. We got to color it in part 1, but that was about it. Part 2, or lesson 14. What are our rewards? Can I kind of delve into that a little bit next week? Final lesson, final revelation.
Oh,
Ooh.
Wow.
Can you tell me what you're looking forward to the most as being part of the bride of Christ?
to be with him.
No pain,
Bertha Ann, you're the oldest one in the room, darlings.
I am.
What are you What are you most looking forward to?
You mean in the afterlife?
Yes.
Oh, yes, be with him, and I can see the heaven is so beautiful, and it's going to be wonderful. I haven't read it.
Wow.
Not yet.
And you can skip and hop and everything else.
Yeah.
That's right.
no tears,
Around.
No tears. Yeah.
no sadness.
No more pain.
No more pain.
All my children.
With you. That's the greatest reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the greatest reward.
That's
No more going to the doctor because you're with a great physician.
Amen. There's nothing to go to the doctor for.
Hallelujah.
What do you mean that doesn't hurt anymore? It doesn't hurt anymore. Right? That, if nothing else, is why you study this lesson. Yes, to dispel what we thought the 1,000-year reign was, which it isn't, and to know that this is what it is, and what will I be doing? You know, women, I mean, when Patty and Lindley saying the first question is, oh, what are we wearing? Okay, now what are we singing? Silly, but that's the way it is. I know what I'm wearing already. Check. You know? What am I riding? White horse. Check. How do I get there? White horse. Check.
With bells
Right?
on.
With bells on.
Yeah.
Holy to the Lord.
And your horse will be marked holy to the Lord.
Yes. Yes. What are you looking forward to? I'm looking forward to seeing those people that have gone before me.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, Linda wants to know if they'll be
So
jingle bells or
many.
kettlebells.
What?
Linda wanted to know if they'll be jingle bells or kettlebells.
I don't
I've
know
only
where
seen
I have
jingle
been.
bells on a horse.
Me too.
Kettlebell on a horse.
Me too. That's true. A cow's bells for a cow.
Yeah.
just the side.
Not riding the cow.
Just the side.
She's riding the mule.
I'm coming with the mule because I have a afraid of heights. I cannot ride the horse today. So I'm coming with the flat.
There's no fear in there.
I can do, maybe that's why I can still do the split.
Right.
Y'all are scarier than we're
Right?
here.
All right, I'm going to give you a break. About 5 minutes and I'm going to start the video.
I'm going to see if video.
One more week, people.
I know.
Can't believe it.